Oh, I love this thing. I love this thing. I would love, honestly, I can only imagine what a GT3 RS feels like, because this thing here is mega. This is absolutely amazing. Right, welcome back guys to another video, and today I've actually got something really special. As you can see behind me here, I've got a 2017 Porsche 911 Carrera 4S. Now this is the 991 model, so I think it's like the 7th gen 911 Porsche, and it's the second 991.2, so it's like the 2nd gen of the 7th generation. Porsche 911s are just bloody epic cars, and this thing is such an amazing car. Predecessors to this didn't come with turbochargers, but this is like one of the first C4Ss with twin turbos. So as you can imagine, the thing goes quite well. I'll go for a little walk around the car just to show you guys what it's all about, and then we'll go for a drive, you know, the usual sort of layout. And, you know, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Performance Lifestyles. Check us out on Instagram as well, Performance_Lifestyles, and we're on Facebook as well, Performance Lifestyles. And if you want your car featured on our channel, drop us an email at pflifestyle@hotmail.com. You know, we'll be more than happy to get your car on there. And I mean, this car belongs to a viewer, a subscriber, and you know, he's dropped us an email, wants his car on there. So yeah, fair enough. So what we'll do is we'll go for a little walk around the car, and then we'll go for a little drive. So we'll catch you outside the car. Right, so here it is, Porsche 911. This is seriously such an epic car. I love these things. These things have, you know, I've been a big fan of these. I've had a couple of 911 turbos many years ago, and these things are just fantastic. And with these new age sort of Porsches, they still carry that same sort of look as the previous cars. They've still got them same lines, them same everything. The shape is pretty much, you could tell a Porsche when you see a Porsche sort of thing. And fair play to its owner, you know, all the credit due to its owner. He's got himself such a beautiful example here. And as you can see with this one, it's a C4S. So as this is the 991.2, so it comes with 2 turbochargers. And the previous model to this, the first sort of 997 generation, was a 3.8 flat 6 naturally aspirated, but this is a 3-litre flat 6 twin turbo. The good thing about these cars is they come with the arches similar to the 911 turbo without the actual vents here, because the 911 turbo, the actual turbo thing, has the intercooler sitting at the back just behind the wheel, so it channels air through to them. But on these, they come with a wide body, all the Porsche turbo sort of brake setup, and I believe it might be the suspension setup as well. These actually have these new style headlights as well, so the DRL is just quite literally that circle with a couple of little lights on the side, so it kind of like stands out. It's got 4 like dots on there, and it's just a whole, you're either a Porsche fan or you're not, but either way, you know a 911 when you see one. The arches on this thing, when you're driving it, you can see them. They flare out massively. They flare out quite a bit. And with it being a 4S, this is a 4-wheel drive car. So Porsche always, the 2s are the narrow-bodied 2-wheel drive, rear-engine, rear-wheel drive, whereas this is a 4S, so it's the 4-wheel drive, wide-bodied, turbo-body sort of car. And the Gen 2, again, The first generation never had these sort of vents in the bumpers, and they had 4 exhaust pipes on the back. But the Gen 2 997.2 has the twin pipes here. It's a switchable exhaust system, and it sounds fantastic. Honestly, this thing sounds great. You can hear the turbo spooling up, and the other thing is the spoiler. The earlier Porsches only had like a really small spoiler, so it's sort of like level with the grille there, the vent at the back, but these extend over a little bit more, and you can either put them on manually, or when you're doing 70 odd miles an hour they come up. Again, 20-inch alloy wheels, 305s on the back, so I'm guessing they're quite wide. They're very wide. Pirelli P0s again, N-rated tyres, which Porsche recommend. And again on the front, 20-inch wheels, but slightly narrower. So these are 205s on the front and then 305s on the back. And again, same massive 6-pot brakes on the front, and I believe they are 4-pots on the rear. So as you can see, they're absolutely stunning. And this one's also got the panoramic sunroof. So it's another great feature. I've never had one of these with a I've never had this shape, to be fair. I've had a 996, and I've had managed to get to drive a 997 turbo quite often, but they were just, they were cabs. So a coupe with a pan roof, and in this day and age, I think it's a must, because every manufacturer comes out with a panoramic roof. So the engine actually sits literally underneath this vent here, and it is, as written there, it's the 3-litre. And with it being a 4S, it's the S sort of engine, and it's a flat 6 engine, 420 horsepower, and it goes very nicely, to be fair. It actually shifts quite well. It's got all the characteristics of a Porsche, a fast Porsche, and these are actually known to be quicker than the 997 turbo. So they're a fraction of a second quicker than a 997 turbo, and it's only the C4S. I say only the C4S. I'm comparing it to its pre-turbo car, and the Porsche turbo in this shape, I believe they're 580 odd horsepower or something, and they're very, very, they're a quick car, very quick car. So onto the inside of this Porsche, it's got these funky handles. They lift upwards as opposed to outwards. And the first thing that you actually, if you've come from a previous gen 911, you realise is this actual thing here. This is now to adjust your mode, so you can put it into sports plus, individual, or you could just leave it in comfort. And it also lets you know you're driving a C4S on the actual dashboard. Now this actual screen here, you can probably see it better from here. This actual screen here, that acts as boost gauge, satellite navigation screen. It can do a number of things, and obviously you've got your big rev counter in the middle, which is a standard Porsche thing. Speedometer here in digital speedometer, and your analog one sitting over there with all your temperatures and oil pressure and stuff, which is a must-have, and water temperature and fuel gauge on this side. C4S kick plates. This one comes with these style seats. I know there was an option on these where you could get bucket seats, but to be fair, if you're using these as a daily car, you're probably going to benefit from just having these normal leather seats. I say normal, they're still a bucket seat, and they're still a lot more, they're very good. They're actually very, very good. See, heated seats, electric seats, the usual mod cons that you'd expect from a circa £100,000 car. So, this is what, 3-4 years old now at the moment, and they're still pricing at probably £70,000 to £80,000. And they're such an amazing car. I know the previous 996 4Ss are hovering over 20 now, way over 20 for a decent example, and 997s are 35 odd grand, and they've actually gone up in price over the last, God knows how, 6 months or so. So they've gone up in price over the last 6 months or so, which is kind of like, a bit of a kick, but it's one of them. It's just these sort of cars, they generally will. They're a classic, iconic car, and the only thing that I really not a big fan of in these cars is the amount of space in the back. But I suppose you don't buy a Porsche 911 to carry your passengers, I suppose, but it's one of them. That seat there, It's got enough space in there, to be fair, but it's not. It won't be a comfortable sort of a ride. So on a normal car, what you do is you'd expect to see your engine at the front, but with that, as with all Porsche 911s, they are rear-engined. Whether they're rear-wheel drive or four-wheel drive varies upon the spec and the model that you buy. But this is the actual boot. So you got plenty of space in there, you know, plenty of room in there for your luggage. Well, I say for your luggage, for your shopping, but that's probably about all you're going to fit in there. But again, you don't buy a Porsche to carry your luggage around or go to the tip or anything like that. So epic cars. Now you've also got here is switchable sports exhaust button, stop start, you don't want that on anyway. The spoiler you can manually raise from here, or you can lower it, or it automatically comes up at when you hit about 70 odd miles an hour. And then obviously your PDC, the suspension, it stiffens that up, and traction control. Then this is for the panoramic roof. So it's got the pan roof, which is a fantastic feature. Screens, touch screen, sat nav, it acts as a media player thing, so it's a fantastic thing. But again, these are kind of like basic sort of features you'd expect from this sort of a car. So I mean, what we'll do is, it's also got Bose actually. I've just noticed it's got Bose sound system, which is a Porsche thing from many years ago. I remember the 996s back in the days used to come with a phone stuck on the dashboard here. However hideous it actually looked, but at the time, you know, going back to 2000 sort of era, it actually was a cool thing, it was an in thing. But I'm glad they've got rid of that. It's just a SIM card in the dashboard now, I believe, and that is, or even Bluetooth actually. You don't even do SIM cards. What am I talking about? Bluetooth, connect it to your phone, and jobs are good and does everything for you. So what we'll do is then we'll go for a little drive just to give you guys a feel of what it's all about, and then we'll conclude the video. But honestly, it's a great car, and it feels such a privilege to actually get the chance to drive this car, to show you guys what it's all about. So subscribe to our YouTube channel, Performance Lifestyles. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook as well. Instagram's performance_lifestyles, Facebook's Performance Lifestyles. And what we'll do is we'll catch you on the drive. Right, so we're back in this Porsche 911, and just, I mean, the whole drive, if you've never experienced the drive on a Porsche 911, I can honestly say, mark my words, they drive absolutely beautiful. It doesn't matter if it's, you know, even a C2, C4, C4S, or the turbo, whatever it is, they drive so well. You could tell you're driving something really special. I had the experience in a GT3 many years ago, 997, and that was like a raw feel of like one of these or a 911 turbo. But they're on a completely different level. Their engines are different. They're just race spec sort of cars, race spec Porsches for the road in essence. But as far as these go, this, you know, the 997.2 C4S, I must admit, is a absolutely beautiful car to drive. The seating position is perfect, and the dials, everything you need is there right in front of you, especially more so now with this generation of the Porsche 911. They've got the center actual gauge is the rev counter with a digital speedometer, and as you've probably seen on the actual walk around, or the interior shots, and the actual gauge to the right of that, when you're looking at it, is you can adjust it to whatever you want. So you can have your boost gauge, G-force meter. You can have it as, quite literally, you can do whatever you want with it. They're so good. And like I said, this is quite possibly like one of the first times I've driven a new age sort of Porsche 911. And because the previous ones were, I mean, you're still talking 997s, they're still 12, 13 years old. So they've come a long way since then. And I know for a die-hard Porsche fan, when they first introduced turbochargers to the C4S range, I know a lot of people were thinking, right, okay, they're going to lose that rumble, that burble, that actual whole driving experience of a Porsche purely because of the introduction of turbochargers. But no, they've still got that noise, they've still got that flat six sort of noise. And especially with this, I mean, this one's got a switchable sports exhaust. We're in comfort mode at the moment, so it's actually tamed, it's quiet, it's well sort of reserved. But the moment you put it into sports and sports plus, it completely transforms this car. Honestly, it completely transforms the way it drives and the actual whole experience, because noise in a car is half the experience in my essence, and then obviously it's the power and the way it drives and stuff, but it's, or should I say, a big part of the experience. Maybe not half, but a big part of the experience. And Porsche have got it just right with this. So what I'll do is I'll put it into sports mode, So now it's in sports mode, into manual gear changes. It is so smooth, but it pulls very well. Right, so in Sports Plus now, I think let's try Sports Plus. Yeah, you can feel the difference with Sports and Sports Plus. The gear change is crisp. With this is a PDK as well, so it's the flappy paddle gearbox on this Porsche. The previous models had buttons on the steering wheel which lost that whole experience of a flappy paddle box. So at the time, you know, I used to compare them to E46 M3, and the E46 M3 SMG2 gearbox was fantastic, but then you jumped into a 996 or a 7 Porsche with Tiptronic, and it was like, right, I don't think I've made the right choice here. But the PDK box is mega. Honestly, this thing is mega. It's not stiff. I mean, the actual PDC button's on. It's still not that stiff. It's still a very refined sort of drive. And like I mentioned before, the only thing I could really knock this for is the rear legroom. But again, who buys a Porsche for rear legroom? Or even there on downshift, it barked at you. You can... Oh, this thing is great. You can hear the turbocharger spooling, and it still carries that noise that everybody is used to with a Porsche 911. Porsche, whatever, however you pronounce it, it still carries that characteristics over onto this turbocharged lump. And I think the way they've designed everything is just fantastic. And I think the top speed on this thing is, I can only hazard a guess at around 170 odd miles an hour, 180 maybe miles an hour, and no doubt it will get there, and it will get there very, very quickly and very comfortably. You can even, the good thing, you can even see the spoiler raised up in the back. And like I mentioned, you could do that off a button here, or as soon as you hit a certain speed, it comes up. Back with the 996 era, the saying was, if your spoiler comes up as you're driving past the coppers, then they know exactly what speed you're doing. Because then it comes up after, I think it was after 70 miles an hour. Everything is so well placed in this car. Alcantara, pillars, and even some cars you get the pillars are like in your way, so you're trying to look around and just when you're doing maneuvers. But I honestly can't think of anything to fault this car. I know I need to start getting into the pros and cons of every car, yes, but it's a Porsche 911. I can't think of any cons with this car. They are so great, so great. You can tell I'm a Porsche fan. If you're not a Porsche fan, you're probably going to be thinking, what is this guy on about? But honestly, until you've experienced one of these cars, you won't know what I'm talking about. These are fantastic cars. Oh, that gear change is it's crisp. Oh, I love this thing. Even the downshift is mega. I was expecting it not to bark at you when you do it, but it still lets it rip. As soon as you downshift, like growls at you. The moment you back off the throttle, that popping of the exhaust sounds great. Sounds very good. Oh, I love this thing. I love this thing. I would love, honestly, I can only imagine what a GT3 RS feels like, because this thing here is mega. This is absolutely amazing. This literally falls into like a dream car sort of category, purely because of how expensive they are. And yeah, I understand they will come down in price eventually, but it's still a very, very expensive car. This is absolutely awesome. This is another one of them cars, when you drive it, you'll be smiling like a Cheshire cat from ear to ear. But if you're not a Porsche fan, you probably won't. I love Porsches. Porsches are just great. Porsches are fantastic cars. And this one here, you know, like I said, all the credit to its owner. He's got himself a stunning 911. It's not even there. You put your foot down a little bit. We're in Sports Plus, and you can hear the turbo spooling. You can hear him in the background because the engine sits right behind you. Well, behind them seats there. You can hear it spool up. Sounds great. Porsches, the 911s, the 911 turbos, were always known as the daily supercar. Here you go, it's automatically just started asking for it now. The PDK box on these is so good, so good. It is pinpoint, well, I say pinpoint, it is very, very sharp, very accurate. The steering is pinpoint accurate. The gearbox is very quick. It's like snap, 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 and it's just going through the gears, and which is what you want. And now we're just driving around in normal sort of mode. Beautiful car, and you actually notice how wide these are. The moment you look in your rear view mirror and all you can see is that R sticking out, and it's, these Porsches are well known for that. And oh, is this guy giving me weight? Yes, he is. And they're well known for that. I mean, especially the wide-bodied Porsches. The narrow-body ones maybe not so much, but the wide-bodied Porsches are very, very good to look at. I wasn't a big fan of the narrow-bodied 996s and 7s and stuff, but the wide-body stuff is perfect. Absolutely perfect. You can hear it. The actual exhaust is going. So if somebody turns around when it makes that noise, they'd probably expect to see something like a, I don't know, just like a Golf R or something, but they'll be dead wrong. When there's this amazing looking Porsche 911 just turns up. And it's four-wheel drive. It handles, it grips the road, they feel very planted. I know the two-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive Porsches can be a bit leery on the back end, but with these ones, they've actually extended the chassis, the wheelbase ever so slightly. I think it was by something like 3 inches or something, just to get the perfect weight distribution, and they've done a good job. I'm comparing it to a 997 now, and it's, you know, I'd say they're light years ahead of a 997. The way they drive, the way they look, the way they handle. Don't get me wrong, the 997s are absolutely beautiful cars. So are the 996s, but this is, yeah, like I said, it's on a dream car level. This is just, for me, it's a beauty. Absolutely beautiful car. Right, guys, so thank you very much for watching this video. I literally had this car, you know, got offered this car by one of our viewers, one of our subscribers, and you know, fair play to him. He got in touch, we arranged a date, and thank you very much for him to, you know, letting us review this car just for you guys to see. So what we'll do is, like I said, I'm going to conclude the video here now. I need to go give this car back before I get carried away with it and accidentally drive it home. And no, this car needs to go back now. So what we'll do is, thank you very much for watching the video, guys. Honestly, I really appreciate all the help that we've had so far on our journey. You know, we're 6 months into our YouTube channel, and we're growing, you know, by the day, so alhamdulillah, which is good, which is very good. So, and it's all thanks to everybody here who watches our videos, subscribes to our channel. So thank you very much again. And again, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Performance Lifestyles. Check us out on Instagram, performance_lifestyles, and check us and on Facebook as well, Performance Lifestyles. We've got plenty of videos uploaded already. We've got Nissan GTRs, RS3s and RS4 and stuff, and we've got plenty of other content to come. So do check us out, help us grow, and as per usual guys, stay safe, and we will catch you on the next video.